Hi guys, this is Mina Ahmed from Coach My Life. I'm here to talk to you about overthinking. Very different to thinking. Thinking is very productive, it's very useful, it's really super important, especially when you're making some really important decisions in your life. Whereas overthinking actually really impairs your quality of life. And it's a process that occurs in our brain and that almost feels as if there's no kind of off switch. And people generally overthink in the night as well, and that can be really seriously disruptive to sleep. And one of the reasons that they're overthinking at night is because in the day they haven't actually sorted a lot of issues out. So yes, we can all admit that we overthink things or opportunities that come our way. We overthink important decisions that we need to make in our life, money-related concerns, family relationships, friendships, education, career. So many things that we overthink in our life. It's just one of those unfortunate things that happen to us. Now, some of these thinking processes are super important because obviously, there's issues that are, for example, it might be a financial reason that you need to think about something. So, but what you have to notice is if you notice that you are thinking about that thing all day long, all week long, all year long, all month, or you're just noticing it, that every time you're thinking of the same thing, then perhaps it's a good idea to gain some sort of perspective on this and see what's actually happening. So there's healthy ways to think. Yeah, okay. You can write your concern down in a journal on a piece of paper. You could list it. And then you could write the pros and cons about the thing that you're trying to achieve or the worry that you have, because it could be a worry for health or whatever you're worried about, write it down. What this actually does is it creates a distance between you and the thought, and this becomes black and white. It's on the paper and you can see it. So, and that really, really helps you to get some sort of perspective about what's going on and whirring around in your brain. So now it probably needs some motivation to move it from a concept to an action. Okay, so an action could be that actually it could be that you don't want to take an action because you could write it down and realize actually I don't really need this in my life, so it can be struck off from your list. But when it does need an action and you've got it down there on a piece of paper, you have to sort of think, is this thought serving me? Is this thought real? Is this thought a real concern for me? Is it as scary as it seemed when it was in my mind, whereas now it's on a piece of paper? So you kind of need to be, I'd say you probably need to look at your brain like a filing cabinet. And so you need to be quite ruthless and think, does this thought really need to be stored in my brain any longer? Yeah, or has it overstayed its welcome? So you need to really distinguish with this thought that you have. Is it something that you need to get rid of, and it's really overstayed its welcome and it's just going round and round, or is it something you're going to do with it? Is it something that's calling you to something greater? So you need to really look at what's written down on your paper. The other way to do this is because there are some people who are what I call avoiders of writing, and I've been guilty of that myself as well in the past, where I haven't written things down and I've just gone, that's why it's in my brain. So sometimes people like that prefer to voice it out, and it's quite useful if you talk to somebody about the issue that is really, really worrying you, and you'll realize that actually because you voiced it out, you can hear it back from the other person, and that really gives you perspective too. So it's like the paper example that I gave you. You can create that distance as well by speaking about it and then somebody else reflecting it back to you. Because the worst thing to do is to keep it whirring around in your brain. And it's very unhealthy, and obviously then we increase stress and anxiety and depression. And most importantly, it really doesn't allow you to be present in the moment and enjoy where you are. And it doesn't allow you to even have a nice perspective about what can come for you, what exciting things might happen in your life. It just doesn't let you be present or enjoy what might be coming. So why do I recommend distance between the thought and you? This is the place where you can actually observe objectively, is this thought true? Is this action I want to take going to serve me? And what actions do I need to take to make the thought become something that is excellent for me? So you really need to think about, is it going to do something for me? Or is this thought just a thought keeping me super stuck? So the great thing about doing the voice, so sounding out to somebody, or writing, is it allows you to make that observation. Is it keeping me stuck? Is it just a thought? So from this distance we absorb or we observe the thought, and we start to get some sort of clarity about what's going on. So we create this distance, and this is what we refer to, or could refer to, a simple watchful reflection of what the thought is, or the overthinking is what's happening here. And what was it all about really? Why was I overthinking this thing? So it really, really helps you. It could be that you're thinking about somebody else actually, so the thought could relate to other people as well. So as long as you write it down, the process is still the same. So you might be worried about someone else, or worried about what somebody thinks about you, for example. So the next stage really is probably the most challenging, and because you've assessed it now, you thought about the pros and cons, you thought about now what, and then obviously it moves into sort of decision time. But for people who are super indecisive, they struggle immensely with this, and they let their previous experiences pollute what can be achieved now and what can go wrong. So here people give up the thought that could go into action, but it's too challenging. So those kind of new thoughts start to develop at this stage, where you're trying to get action, but actually now you're worried that there might be other things that come into there. So the therapies that I use support you to move you from just this thought to action. It stops that vigorous, unforgiving overthinking, so that it can be put to a side, and then you can have a clear perspective of where you are, and your clear goals are seen through that kind of haziness of overthinking. So now we want to move you from thinking to action, and the in-between part is what I call the most important part, which is the motivational drive. This is the drive that will help to propel you to action. It's a super important part. This is the part where many of us become stuck, as mainly because the reason is the motivation is formed through preconceived ideas about yourself. So for example, it'll be based on your self-esteem, self-worth, your confidence, your self-image. These will become almost like barriers to your success and your motivation, and there will be that kind of critic voice that will say, you will fail, you're not good at this, you can't be healthy, you will always be sad, your relationships won't improve, you're always an angry person, you're just a nobody, and you don't matter. So it goes to that level. This is something that I call, these are like negative nuggets in your brain, and they're pushing you back into the whirlwind of overthinking and underachieving. This is what this overthinking does. Actually keeps you stuck to underachieve, to take no action, and the underaction happens because we're stuck in this overthinking pattern. So just be very, very aware of these negative nuggets. Are you having one right now? So the question is that how are we going to get out of this? So is it even possible, are we able to even get out of this overthinking? One of the ways we can do it is just to listen to the voice. What is it saying? Is it a cruel voice? Is it being a bully? Or is it being your cheerleader at the moment? If it's a bully, what do you need to do to make that voice into a cheerleader? So it's the one who says, you're fantastic, you can do this, you're great, you've got fantastic relationships, you're great at communicating, you can improve, you can do this, you can get somewhere in your life, and you can keep moving forward, and it's great. Now, what the bully does is it provides us with a lot of evidence that you're going to fail, and so it pushes into failure instead of success for anything. Any overthink that you're doing, when you're writing it down, you look at it objectively, you still go, oops, I don't think I want to achieve that, or like that, or this isn't going to change for me, and I'm just going to be stuck in this pattern forever and ever. So what we have to do is try to get ourselves out of that kind of counteractive thinking. It's not very helpful, the way we're thinking about ourselves. So one of the ways that we can counteract it is to write a list of where you have noticed that you've actually had some success in your life. You know, you did really, really well, and so said that you did well, and you noticed that you felt great about yourself, and it's okay to make mistakes, and you know, perfection isn't real, and you start to have those more positive and important thought processes start to develop. One of the things is super important not to compare yourself to others, and it's easier said than done, but not to compare yourself to others because and other people's success. This will really, if you do it, if you think that you're not going to compare yourself to other people, it's actually quite freeing. It's immensely freeing, because then there's no comparison or anything. Like, you just actually invested in yourself, and that's super important. You invest in you and your thoughts, and let's get this overthinking out and let's thrash it out. What is it all really about? So once you are out of that pattern of negative overthinking, we can realize that there's a voice or a truth or what we call authenticity and positivity that screams louder than the bully and the critic, and it's now become your cheerleader. I suppose, like I said earlier, it's going to move you and propel you forward to action. This motivation is going to come from this really positive thinking. And that's where you're going to have unimaginable success in all spheres of your life, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, career, anything really. Because you're struggling with the overthinking, and that's keeping you stuck. So if you are actually struggling with this is it's a common thing. I mean, it has major health implications. Please do get in touch with you. If you're overthinking something and you just need some relief from this, do get in touch with me. I've suffered from this, you know. You still have overthinking. It's a natural thing, but it's when it gets to the level where you're thinking the same thought again and again and again and again, and it's actually nothing's happening. That is nice for you. You know, you want to move away from that, and it's like an illness really. And the medicine is support. You really need some support, and you need to take some of the steps that I've just mentioned earlier to write it down, get that distance for yourself. So reflect on it and build the courage to motivation, and then take the action, which then becomes less labouring. Courage is super, super difficult, super, super hard, but actually that's what you need. You need the courage and the motivation so that the action is less labouring for you, so it doesn't become such a pain to do. Because the thing is that I've mentioned this in other videos as well, that if you keep it inside you, it's like a monster. It's just a thought. Get it out. Get it out with a friend. Get it out with somebody who's going to support you. Write it down. Get that distance, and that will be really powerful for you. Even having the courage to speak about it, because a lot of people don't want to talk about what the issue is. Even having the courage to write about it, of your overthinking, is really super powerful. Because this action will give you the relief and release from the overthinking habits. I mean, we're in lockdown again, you know. So instead of doing the overthinking, what could you do constructively today, and tomorrow, and next week, and for the month, and for the rest of your year, that actually takes you out of overthinking and gives you that motivation to do the things that you really love and you really want to do. This is your time now. Again, you could overthink the whole lockdown and think, oh my goodness, it's just doom and gloom, you know. Or you could think of it as a fantastic opportunity to just, you know, be with your family, strengthen your relationships, improve your communications with people online, if that's the only way we can do it at the moment. You know, do the things that you've dying to do and you've been waiting and putting off for ages. Let's do them. Let's all do them. You know, I'm here to motivate you too. If you want me to talk about any other topic, please get in touch with me. Direct message me, put it on Facebook, anything. I'm here to help you, especially now during this lockdown period. We do need more support. Train your brain differently. You can do it. If you're struggling with anything that I've mentioned today, please get in touch and I can help you to sort quite a few things out and give you some perspective, because that's what we all need, a better perspective about where our life is at the moment and where it's heading. And overthinking, like I've said before, does have major implications on your health. Take good care. It's always lovely to do these videos, and I hope anybody out there is benefiting from a single video that I've put out, and then my job is done. Take good care. Okay, thank you very much. This is Mina signing off from Coach My Life. Bye. Have a fantastic day.